Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to hide the guitar. I'm not doing a very good job. That's better. Too late now. So, I hope everyone's well. These Thursdays are really to talk about gear, because on Sundays I play a concert and I want to try not to speak too much about gear on Sundays. I really want Sundays to be more about the songs and the performance. So I started these Thursdays to talk about gear. And the original idea was to start the show by talking about a piece of gear that I've used over the years and really like, really enjoy, really means a lot to me and is really great. And I've done that so far. I've featured TC Helicon, Rain Song, Fender amplifiers, and there's a few more things like the Acoustasonic that I definitely want to cover. Really, really, really great gear. But of course, eventually I'll run out of gear and I want to talk about either some new gear that's just come out or maybe something that hasn't worked so well for me, maybe something controversial, who knows. But definitely these Thursdays are more about the gear than the performance. I might play some songs tonight because I'm set up with it. I've set up for it. I have my TC Helicon plugged in with my mic plugged in. The guitar is an electroacoustic, so I probably will play some originals tonight. I might play some covers depending on how we go. I'll see how I feel and how you guys feel. So I also made this series that was called Retro Gear Reviews. And what that really was to talk about gear that's been released in the past, which is still fantastic. In fact, a lot of gear I use actually falls into that category. You know, the TC Helicon Voice Live 3 Extreme is an amazing pedal. I couldn't live without it. And yet I feel like now people won't buy it because it's considered old technology and they look for things like the Quad Cortex. But the Quad Cortex does nothing like the Voice Live 3 can do. The Voice Live 3 does vocal harmonies, looping. You can import loops. Okay, the amps and the guitar effects aren't the best, but it does all these things that other guitar pedals can't even do years later. And I've found that with gear as well. You'll notice I do have the Acoustasonic, the Fender next to me. That thing is very forward thinking, and I appreciate that Fender are doing that. I find with other gear that companies are not taking the time to do these things. I mean, for example, and bear with me, this is leading into this guitar. For example, when I got into gear, it was about 5 years ago. And at that time, Martin were doing some pretty interesting stuff. And like Line 6 were doing the Variax and the Pod HD and PA systems. And Voice Live 3 was coming from TC Helicon, and they were making like personal amplifiers for your mic stand that mounted to a mic stand, and Digitech were making the pedal that you play into it. It makes a backing track, and it was really exciting stuff. Hey Lee, what's up? It was really exciting stuff, like innovative and exciting. And I wasn't going to the NAMM shows back then, the trade shows, but I didn't have a YouTube channel, unfortunately. I wish I'd made videos back then. but I was buying stuff then. And my mentality back then was, well, it will get better. So I actually owned a variant of this guitar on my lap before, and I sold it. Actually owned a few of them. And I sold them thinking, well, the next iteration will be better. But it wasn't. I actually feel quite strongly lately, and I might be ranting a bit tonight, I apologize, but a lot of music gear lately is a bit boring. It isn't as good as it was. There's a lot of pedals now that are just basically seeking to replace the guitar amp, whereas the pedals a few years ago were seeking to replace your whole band, or not replace a band, but allow you to make a band to play against. And some people are still doing that, okay? But it was much more exciting. And I've spoken about this guitar a few times on the Monday show with Maury Ruch, who's playing tonight. Hi, Maury. Hope you have a good gig. And this guitar is not perfect, but it's very important, I feel, in the whole acoustic guitar pickup scheme of things that I do talk about on my channel. And I've been looking for a guitar with this pickup system in it for a while. And I'll tell you the story quickly. I was on guitarcenter.com and I was looking at the used stuff, because I always look around the used stuff to see what's going on, and they had 2 of these. So I spent about 30 minutes calling between the 2 stores, asking them to send me pictures, because when you buy used, you got to be careful. I've said that on the channel before. When you buy used, sometimes you don't get a great deal, sometimes you do, but if you don't get a great deal, you don't get the warranty, and you get a load of damage on something, it can be a real letdown. I had a guitar last year, I think it was a Gonan, and I won't say where it was from, but it arrived with no case, in a cardboard box. I thought it was a new guitar, actually, that I bought. I paid the full price for it as a new guitar, and it was used. It looked like it being used by 50 million people on the floor of this store, and I just complained and sent it straight back. I was very disappointed. This guitar is in very good condition. I'll show it to you tonight. But before I reveal what it is, I just wondered if anyone had figured out what guitar this might be, because I did put a hidden picture on the thumbnail, and I will replace that thumbnail picture tomorrow with the actual picture. And tonight my plan is to demo this guitar, talk about why I think it was so forward-thinking of Martin to make this guitar, what I'd like to see them do with this in the future, and ask myself and people watching if I should keep this guitar, and demo it live on the channel through the Voice Live 3, and see what you think of the sound of it. So I did put some brand new strings on it. It's going to sound quite bright. I put a brand new set of strings on there from Maury's Music. They're a 12-gauge Martin string. They might need to be stretched. They might need to be stretched in. They're probably going to go out of tune, and they're going to be very bright. So bear that in mind. But I wanted to make sure I wiped the guitar down, cleaned it up. It's not simply because it's a used guitar. I just got it, so I wanted to clean it all down, make it my own, so to speak. So we'll check out the condition. I'll play you a song on it, and then we'll discuss the guitar, and we'll go through all the electronics, and we'll see what sounds we can get. And you can tell me in the chat if you think it's good or not. So before I reveal the guitar, hello to Lee. Good to see you, my friend. And Roeth. Hi, Lee. Hope you and Rosanna are well too. Yeah, thinking of Lee and Rosanna. Hope you're doing well. And if you're in the chat, do say hi. Don't be a lurker. We don't like lurkers around here. We like to be friends. I'm just kidding. Shall I reveal the guitar? Because no one is guessing what the guitar is. I assume you don't know what it is. I'll do it bit by bit. Okay, I'll give you a hint here. Okay, there's the first hint. I don't want to give things away too quickly. Can anyone guess in the chat what model of Martin guitar this is? Let's see who gets the closest. Let's see who knows their stuff. There's 2 hints here. There's 2 hints, so you should know. And while I'm waiting for those to come through, I'll have a sip of the Soundhole Sniffer Muck. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. I shall try not to spill any liquid on the guitar, because that would not be good. Hi, Don. I'm not revealing it. You have to. I want one person at least to guess what the model is before I reveal. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a trip back in time, and also I know a lot of people keep asking me every week to have Martin on here. This is the Martin week, and well, there'll be more Martin weeks as well, but this is a very special one. All right, Jim says it's a Martin GPC Rosewood, and if you're new to Martin, the way you would figure that out is GPC means Grand Performance Cutaway, and rosewood is the back and sides. And you can kind of tell that because if you look at the back of this guitar, look at that. That is a stunning piece of rosewood. It looks like there's a mark on there. Is that a mark? No, actually, that's just where my hand was resting. That's not a mark. The back is perfectly clean. The mark here is from my from my hand sitting on it. So the back is completely clean, and that's a gorgeous piece of rosewood. And the binding shows you it's a Grand Performance shaped body, and the cutaway is pretty obvious. Let me know in the chat if you like cutaways or not. And the cable obviously shows you that it's an electroacoustic. It's got a pickup in there. So it is a GPC of some kind. And you know what will tell you what model it is? If only Spoon Phillips was here, he would know. This will tell you what model it is. Let's see who the real Martin fans are in the chat. Do you recognize those tuners? I want to see if anyone here is a real Martin fan or if you're just, sort of semi-Martin fans here. Come on, Tone Guy, you must know. No, not even close. 0000C16? No. MC28? No. Satin finish. Yes, it is a satin finish back and sides. Good observation. And you know what happens with a satin finished neck? Is they go glossy. You can see it's kind of gone a bit glossy. You find that satin finish turns to gloss and gloss finish turns to satin. It's kind of funny. Does anyone recognize these tuners in the chat? Because if you don't, I'll have to reveal it. I don't want these videos on Thursdays to be too long. Okay, here we go. Yes, Tone Guy, that's right. Variable ratio tuners, and I'll talk about those later on. They're quite interesting. Yeah, Roeth, you are not a soundhole sniffer, I'm afraid. You've got more study to do. I'll let you off. This is an older model. This is from about 6 years ago. Okay, here we go. Ready? Drum roll, please. This is the GPC Aura GT guitar. And I shall tell you all about this guitar. And we shall also play it and see what it sounds like. Now, I'm not using a microphone. I'm plugged in. If you want to Google it while I'm doing this, you're welcome to tell us the specs. And tell me what you think of the specs. I will go through the guitar. This is a used guitar. And I will also talk in detail about the Aura F1 Plus, which in my opinion is one of the coolest things Martin ever did. Although a lot of people will tell you it's horrendous because you've got holes in the side of your guitar and you've got a microchip. Look at that board in there, that circuit board. They're going to say, oh my goodness, you don't do that to a Martin guitar. Well, I think it's worth it. So let's see. What you can have here, is easy mode. You plug it in, you get easy mode. You know, when this pickup was released, a lot of people didn't understand it. A lot of people said it was complicated. I don't think so. If you press this button here, there's two buttons and there's the screen. So if you press this button here, it says P123. P is just your pickup, your undersaddle pickup. 1, 2, and 3 are presets of different configurations of impulse responses, EQs, feedback, stuff like that, anti-feedback, stuff like that. And then you've got a master volume, and if you turn the other wheel, you get a tone control. So let's hear that undersaddle pickup. This is going to sound like just any old pickup under a saddle. It's going to sound a bit like the OMJM that I've played on here a few times. So if you don't know what an undersaddle pickup sounds like, that's exactly what it sounds like. Just turn the reverb off here. So this is an undersaddle pickup. It's going straight through the pedal, and all you have, this is, Jim, this is the Aura, this is the GPC Aura GT. GPC is Grand Performance Cutaway. Aura is the F1 Plus Aura system, which is here. And GT, I just figured out, stands for gloss top, because the top is gloss and the back and sides are satin. But bear with me, we are talking about pickups a lot tonight as well. Now, and we'll also talk about all these features here. But the pickup, so if you've installed a Fishman Matrix before, this is what it sounds like. So what you get is a very bright and clear sound. You don't get much of the body tapping, which some people don't like. It's actually something I didn't like back in the day when this system was released. But that means you also get less feedback and you get more of a clear kind of sound. You don't get any kind of noises when you're moving around on stage. So some people will like that. Gary, no, it's not the Retro. It's similar to the Retro, but this is a different model. This was like a special NAMM model that they made years ago. Around that time, though, it's using the same system. So that's an undersaddle pickup. You know what I found from doing these live streams? Some people love the sound of an undersaddle pickup, or they think that's the normal sound of an acoustic guitar because that's what they hear at a bar. And some people, like I'm sure Gary, do not like that sound at all because it sounds quacky. Remember, this guitar sounds very bright because I literally just put new strings on it. So forgive the brightness. I'll correct that later. But this is just straight through, the pickup straight through, nothing added. And that is what you get from a Fishman pickup. Reverb, yeah, I'll turn that off as well because some people don't like to hear the reverb. This is straight through. So all the sound is coming from under the saddle. That's why it's very bright and what they call quacky. It's that kind of plasticky artifact that you get from the pickup. But interestingly enough, this is the pickup that, say, John Mayer uses on stage with no effects pedals. So I guess if it's good enough for him, so that is just the undersaddle pickup. Now, let's go through the presets, and then we'll go into the advanced mode, and we'll make our own preset. So what they did was, when they first released this, a lot of people said, well, it's too complicated. I don't agree, but then again, I am a gearhead, so maybe that's why. But if you press the button once, it says 1. So this is now what Fishman have programmed. And in this system, you can. This is why I thought this system was so great, because you could choose one of 9 images or microphones. You could choose the blend of that microphone. You could choose the 3-band treble middle bass EQ of that microphone. You could choose the 3-band treble middle bass EQ of the pickup. You could add compression. You have a tuner. You have a volume control. And you have an anti-feedback control that when you hold it in will suck out any feedback notes that are ringing out on stage. I'm sorry, I think that's fantastic. And I just think that was so ahead of its time. What they basically did was they took a Fishman Aura pedal, which is quite an expensive and heavy pedal, and they shrunk it down into that circuit board and put it inside the guitar. And I just think that was so cool. They did that. It was so innovative and awesome. But let's see what their first preset sounds like. Remember, we're in easy mode, so this is just the preset that they've chosen. And I want to just say one more time, it will sound bright because they're brand new strings, okay? So I'll play that again. This is preset 1. So hopefully you can hear how that's really taken away that kind of quacky sound, all right? I'll just play that again. This is completely raw. You really listen to listen to the sound of the note after I play it. Hi, John. Thanks for subscribing. Cheers. You can really hear, it's weird with these pickups because it's like the first note or the note itself seems fine, very clear, very articulate. I like that sound, but if you listen to like the note after I play it, you get that kind of what they call the quack, right? I always say if you could just remove that quack, then you wouldn't have a problem, and these pickups would be great. It would probably sound more like the Takamine system, which actually sounds really good. Not completely natural, but very clear and articulate. So what Fishman did was to get rid of that. And remember, we're back in the past now. We're 5 years ago. To get around that, they used Aura technology, which was their way of creating an impulse response. And back then, they did make impulse responses of the actual guitars. So that impulse response is of this model. Not of this exact guitar, but it is of this model of guitar, which is always the best way to do these things, right? So, hi, Michael Johnson. Good to see you. Michael from Rio, New Mexico. Very cool. Hi, T. Thanks, T. So you can really hear that there's that quack is kind of gone. Wow, I put the old wrench in there and loosened the truss rod because it was rattling, and now the strings are kind of high, but that's all right. It's on the bright side for me because the strings are brand new, but the quack has gone, you have to admit. I feel like if I just rolled some treble off there and added a touch of bass, that would be a great, really great sound. All right. Now, if I press it again, this is the second preset. So this is another kind of variation that they've dialed in. And here's number 3. I'm struggling to hear a huge difference. When I go into advanced mode, I can completely change the sound, and I'm going to do that next. But let me just run those back to back just to see if there is much of a difference. 1. 2. 3. I can't hear much of a difference, but when we put it into advanced mode, we're going to hear much more of a difference because then I can actually change all the EQ myself. In the easy mode, all you could do was you could turn this control, which would scoop the sound out. I'll just show you what it does. It cuts all the mids out. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but let's see what it sounds like. So here's all the way to the left. This is all the mids in. All the way to the right. Listen. It's basically done that and scooped out all the mids, or you could go anywhere in between. One thing it didn't do back then is the screen didn't tell you where it is, so you have to just do it by guessing. You have to turn it all the way to the left and then just turn it slightly to the right to do a slight cut of the mids. You know, I gotta say personally, and I know tonight might be very, we might be in disagreement about some things, but I do feel, I'm listening with my in-ears, I do feel if I turn the reverb on, if I cut those trebles a little bit, because once again, they're brand new strings, they're gonna sound bright, and it's the GPC, it's not gonna be like a bassy dreadnought sound. But if I did that, I think this would be a fantastic direct sound. I really mean that. It's done such a great job of taking that quack. Oh, I'm not a big fan of the word quack, and neither is Larry Fishman. I always say that, but that is the best way I will describe it until someone gives me a better word to use. But I really think it does a great job because I'm like, other impulse response technology, it doesn't give you that kind of distant or boomy or dull sound. You've still got questionably this sound is too bright, actually. I'll say that. And as we all know, I like bright, but this is very bright. But you get that, imagine you're on a big loud stage and you've got to cut through the mix. Like this is going to cut right through. Where other impulse response things may not. Now remember, I've not been totally anti tonight because Martin do still use Aura. They use it in the modern deluxe guitars, and that's a great system. I reviewed that for Maury at the start of the lockdown. I reviewed a D18 modern deluxe, and that uses what we call Aura HD, and that sounded really, really, really good. But my only kind of qualm with the whole Aura thing with Martin is that they made this system, which was so ahead of its time. And then they took it away and they made the VT Enhance, which uses the same undersaddle with a preset Aura image that you can't do anything to, unlike this one that you can really tweak. And they put the body sensor. So it gave me the body sensor that I wanted to do all this tapping stuff, which actually, in reality, I don't do that often anyway, but it was cool. But then they made the new system, which is the blend Aura Blend, which is using Aura HD, which is just a very simple system. Again, you just dial in the microphone. Basically, you can't make any changes. What I'd like to see in the future, and this is probably for the end of the video, but what I'd like to see in the future is something like this without the holes. You know, I'm quite traditional too. I don't really want holes. I'd like this to be controlled maybe from an app. So you just have no holes. You have a smaller PCB that you can't see tucked at the top. And then you basically use an app to make some presets and beam it in. And there you go. You're good to go. I would do that. And I would also still include the body sensor. But that's my dream system. And that's only if Fishman and Martin are watching. Let's move on. Let's have a quick drink. And then let's talk about the guitar itself. I'll tell you what the construction is like. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. And if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. I really would appreciate it. So this guitar is great, actually, out the box. You know what? This is an interesting model. And this is the reason I like this model. I did see it when they first released it, and I didn't buy one. I wasn't too keen on the inlay. Now, actually, now I'm 5 years older, I quite like the inlay. I think it's kind of cool. But I kind of wish Spoon Phillips was here tonight, our Martin friend and expert, because I'm kind of curious about the decisions they made with this model. So what this is this is not a 28 series. This is kind of feels like a lower series. It sounds great, I have to say. I really like the sound of this guitar, but it's kind of a lower model in that it has the mortise and tenon neck joint. It does not have the high-end dovetail neck joint. I think it sounds great, so I think sometimes the specs don't mean that much, but interesting. What I found interesting with this guitar is that they spent a lot of time and money, obviously, putting the inlay in the neck, right? They always tell you that Martin spend the most money putting the inlays in the neck of a guitar. So they put a lot of money into the inlay, but then they made a non-gloss back and side guitar with the mortise and tenon neck joint. I think that's an interesting choice. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think it's interesting that they chose to do that. I'd love to know why. It also has the binding. I'm not usually a fan of binding on the neck of a guitar. I'm not really a fan of the 35s for that reason, but I think I like it on this guitar. When I first saw these tuners, I wasn't really convinced about those either years ago, but now I actually quite like them because they're kind of quirky and different. And they feel, I presume they're metal. They almost feel like they could be plastic, but I'm sure they're metal. But the way they've taken some parts away, the way that they're kind of got the holes in there, like the skeleton holes, makes them very light, which is interesting. And if you look at the back, which I'm not sure if you can see, I wasn't sure if they actually changed these tuners. If you find a picture online, you'll see what I mean. Each tuner looks different. I thought these tuners had been replaced. They haven't. Each tuner has a different ratio. And these tuners also have a very high ratio in that when you put the new strings on, I have to turn them like twice as long as my other standard Martin tuners. But I kind of like that in a way. It means they're very accurate, which is cool. It also means it takes a few more seconds to put new strings on. Well, that is what it is. The woods are very cool. They're the woods that I like. It's the rosewood back and sides. That's a great back on this guitar. And it's a Sitka spruce top, which is great. The pick guard looks great. And people that watch me on Mondays with Maury will know that I'm a huge fan of this inlay. The pearl inlay around the sound hole for me is the thing that all acoustic guitars should have. Again, many people will disagree, and that's fine. But this is what I like the most on the John Mayer guitar, and this guitar has it. And that's one of the reasons why I like this model right now. I also really like the inlay on the fingerboard as well. I like it because it's different. I'm very traditional. I like things that look very normal. I'm a big fan of the OM28 and the HD28 and the D28. But I also think this model was cool. I'd love to know who was responsible for this model because it just looks different and yet traditional. I don't know. I like it. I like it quite a lot. I really do. So about the guitar, it is used, but it actually looks like no one's played it. There's no wear on the frets. There's a slight gloss to the neck that you get when you play a satin neck, which starts to turn glossy. There's one scratch, unfortunately, on the back of the neck. You have to wonder if that happened while it was hanging up at the guitar center, which unfortunately probably is what happened. I'm just going to guess because it's in such great condition. It's almost like someone just bought it and left it in their closet, which is great. But the thing about this guitar is you can't buy them anymore, and you can't have them made at the custom shop either, which is why I wanted it. So let me do this. Let me read through the comments, and then let me put this into advanced mode to mess around with the pickup system and really show you what it can do. And then I'll play a song on it so you can actually hear it through the pedal. And I will use effects for that as well. So I hope you're having a great night. I hope you're enjoying yourselves and having a nice drink of water or tea or whatever it is you're drinking out there. Let me see here. So Lee, the Sandhole Sniffer. Hi, Aaron, everyone. Hope you're well. Rowan says, hope you're doing well. Jim's in Vermont. Very cool. Don, it's not the... You know, I still have the 0018 to review. Haven't bonded that well with that guitar, but it is a nice guitar for a certain person. I think I like the GPC body, even though it's not very traditional, is it, for a Martin? In fact, I think they may have discontinued the GPC altogether, which is another thing to talk about another day. Is that a style 42 backstripe? I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. So maybe if you look at a picture online, perhaps you can tell me. It could be. Tone Guy says hi. Didn't see the back. Let me just spin forward here to where I showed you the guitar. Lee, yeah, you didn't. How did you know? Come on. How did you know that? There's no way you could have known it was that guitar. Interesting specs. Looks like a fair amount of ornamentation, but satin back and sides. Yeah, you know, the satin thing is interesting because whether it's true or not, I don't know. But for example, let me see. Cole Clark will say they use satin because it lets the guitar breathe more, like it sounds better with satin. I can see that. I can see that full gloss on the guitar can affect the tone. The Taylor 814 has a thinner gloss than the 414. And they say it's to help the tone breathe through. Obviously, it also saves a lot of money. That's why they do it. But satin can be cool. You know, it can be cool. Yeah, I know. On this guitar, like I said, this is an interesting model. They did things to save money, and they also did things to put more money into it, like the inlay. This inlay probably costs as much as the whole guitar. It's interesting. So you're right. It is interesting specs. GPC Aura GT, yes. Gary said retro. So I keep talking about retros all the time. They were great because they are a true... They made the 18, the 28, the 35, the 45. They made a retro 45. Can you believe it? So those guitars were a higher construction than this, which also meant they were more money as well. But they were a great series. I think the retro series is one of the best series they did. And I think they should have kept it around. And I'm pretty vocal about that, but I think I'm the only one that says that, so that's fine. I understand that companies have to make what sells, right? Lee almost bought this model, didn't like look of electronics. So Lee, that's exactly why I sold. I had a few retros. I actually bought them from, I think I got one from Sweetwater, one from Maury back in the day. And I sold them. I see, like I said at the start of the show, I was thinking, well, they're going to make a new retro with newer technology and a smaller. I really thought, I was convinced they were going to make the circuit board in there smaller and make it sound even better. But of course, it never happened. They just killed the series and moved on to something else. So I've learned that with gear. If there's a piece of gear you like, then buy it and enjoy it. And don't care if a new version comes out, because often the new version is not better than the old version. New is not always better with gear, for sure. I've learned that the hard way. Oh, okay, Jim. I play a lot of alternate tunings. Have been interested in GraphTech ratio tuners. Are these tuners? I think they are. I think they are called ratio. Yeah, they're more accurate. They therefore take longer to tune. So I guess that is for that. Thank you, T. Michael Johnson. Yes, thank you for being here. Gary Roberts. Let's see what Gary says. It's okay amplified in this mode. Not bad, not great. Sounds like an undersaddle, but that works well in a band mix without feedback. Yeah, that's my thought exactly, Gary. And I did gig the retro guitars for a few years before I went to the Anthem, and I always had great results. I really did. I gotta say, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Back then, I didn't really understand what Aura was. I didn't really understand how to use it. Martin were right. The system was kind of overly complicated in that a lot of guitarists don't know what compression is. They don't know what EQ is. They don't know what any of that stuff is. And I didn't really either. So I get that. But I kind of feel like if they'd released this now, it would have been more successful because more musicians may have been on YouTube talking about it and explaining and helping. Maybe, I think they released Aura too soon. Maybe. I don't want to be too outspoken tonight, but that's what I sometimes think that. Does it sound better than Aura in Modern Deluxe? Right. Well, the Aura in the Modern Deluxe, I think, sounds fantastic. I'm not sure how much better I would say it sounds. But once again, you only have a tone and a blend. I'm going to, again, to sound like the broken record, I love the tweakability of this, and I'm not a tweaker. This is an interesting guitar for me to be talking about tonight because I've recently gone back to playing an amplifier. I'm kind of sick of the digital gear. I want to just play the guitar. But I think this is a great system. I think it has just enough tweakability to make it sound how you want it to. I just think it was ahead of its time. And I just think I'd love to see something like this come back in the future. I understand like what Lee was saying, especially with Martin fans. I totally get it. You don't want stuff in the side. You don't want holes. You don't want to cut. You don't want to see a circuit board. I totally get that. But I'll just say it one more time. I don't understand why they can't remake this system with an app control. I'll leave it at that. Let's keep going through the chat. Dan, I'm not opposed to using the reverb. I just like a sample of raw sound. Okay. Yeah, I remember you asked me to play without the reverb before, Dan. So I'll just do that. I'll turn it off now and again. Roworth says, I've got that Abalone Rosette. It's got, yeah, exactly. It's got that Abalone Rosette. I really, really like that look. So I got an Aura pedal from Maury some time ago. It does most of what you describe. I load it up with the right image from Fishman, and I just need the guitar and set up. Okay, so I have the Fishman pedal as well. It's quite heavy and bulky, but it basically does everything this does. But this also will let you EQ the pickup separately. So this actually does more than that big pedal does. The cool thing with the Aura they were using at the time in this and the other guitars is that they were making the images of these guitars, which you can't get from the website. The problem I have with the Aura pedal is if I don't find an image of the exact guitar, it doesn't sound as good. I always found these guitars to sound great because Fishman had sat down and made the images for the guitar themselves. And I think that was always a really cool thing. But that old Aura pedal is still a great pedal. I agree. I still use mine today. Yes, Tone Guy, I was saying that. This has the oh, really? Simple dovetail. I think it's more tenon. Are you sure? I'm not saying you're wrong. I haven't really researched. Like I said, I just found this like a day ago and got it yesterday. So the fingerboard and bridge are African Blackwood, right? And you're drinking lemonade. Okay. Oh, and Campari. And the back stripe is 45. I want to know who designed this guitar. It's a very interesting choice of appointments. Michael Johnson says, your guitar looks very similar to my TC311 Mitchell. Does guitar company copy each other? Hey, I don't know. I'm sure, in the way that Android influences Apple and Apple influences Android, I'm sure that happens. No comment. Tone Guy, the ratio tuners were designed so you could make the same number of turns on each. Oh, this is great info. Thank you, my friend. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. That's great. That's actually really cool. So, okay, so they're the same. So when you change the tuning, you just turn them the same. That's really interesting. I had no idea. I learned that tonight. Same number of turns. Okay, to go from drop to low E to a D is same G to C. Oh, that's really interesting. Thank you. I didn't know that, and I hadn't read that anywhere. Very cool. BMO is here. And, oh, check the specs on Maury's site. Yeah, he leaves the specs up there, doesn't he? Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it into advanced mode. And let's see what this thing can really do. Let's see if we can make it sound more like how I want it to. Remember, you could plug this into a mixer and shape it there. Of course, and why would you not do that with a pickup anyway? But you can do it all on the device, so let's do that. I just have to remember how to do it. Again, this is a lot of things, a lot of reasons why some people got confused. What you do is you unplug it. Let's make sure it's muted. Now, what you did, if I remember correctly, I'm remembering back like 5 years ago right now. You hold down one of the buttons and you plug in the guitar. And on the screen it says like A and B or whatever, and you release it when it's on the mode that you want. Let's see. It says R, that's reset. P, that's performance. Well, I guess that's it then, right? Performance. So what I do is I actually press down the other button. It flashes. I release. And now we're in performance mode. Okay. It's not that hard, actually. And to be fair, I remembered how to do that after 5 years of having a retro 5 years ago. So now if I press the left button, it says I, that's the image, and you can select between 1 to 9. That's 9 microphones. You press it again, it says T, that's treble. Again, that's M, that's middle. Again, that's B, that's bass. Again, that's X, that's the blend between the mic and the pickup. Again, that's C, that's how much compression it has. Again, that's A, that's your anti-feedback if you're on a big noisy stage. And again, you're back to I. It's, I understand why some people might say that's confusing, but honestly, I don't know, maybe I'm the wrong person to give that opinion because I do a gear channel, right? But anyway, let's play with it. So basically, this is really good now because what we can do is we can choose between 9 images, right? So I'll go to I. This is microphone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's darker, right? 7, 8, 9. So I like 6. And I remember Martin saying that, well, a lot of people just chose a mic and they never touched that again. We didn't need that control. Yeah, that's fair enough. I remember I used to change mics between fingerstyle and strumming, and it worked really well. Also, for lead playing, I'd turn the mic off completely and just play lead with the piezo pickup, and it would cut through really well. So I kind of disagree. I agree and I disagree. 9 images in there probably is too many, but choice isn't a bad thing, is it? So I like the sound of that because it's not as bright. Now, what I can do then is keep pressing to the X, that's the blend, and I can put it on 10. Now, if I put it on 10, that's all microphone. So this is all impulse response. It's still a bit bright for me, but there's no quack there whatsoever, right? Sorry, I'm going to put the reverb on. So there is 0 what we call quack there. It's But the problem is, and this is what a lot of people maybe didn't understand, is that that isn't a good thing. I think people are now learning that with the new IR pedals that are coming out, that too much impulse response actually sounds kind of weak, kind of distant, kind of soft. Might sound good with headphones when you're recording at home. But on a stage, it just sounds like it almost sounds like you've turned the reverb up to 20, to 100%. It's too much. So what you would do is you would dial it back, right? So you go back to blend again and bring it back. Basically, that was 10. So I might bring it back to, say, I don't know, 5. So nice sound. Now, I still, once again, keep saying this, brand new strings. So what I'll do is I'll go to T, that's treble, and I'll bring it back down minus, look, here's -9, right? Actually, it sounds fine. If I bring it up to +9, I don't like that at all. That's really bright. Actually, so with these brand new strings, I think that -9 was fine. So then I'll go to mids and I'll take maybe 2 of those out, and I'll go to bass and I'll boost that by 3. So you get this sound now. It's still quite bright, and the reason for that is that what that just did was it affected the pickup. It didn't affect the mic image. Now, this system, unlike the Aura pedal, will allow you to do the EQ of the two things separately, which was something the pedal couldn't do, which is actually kind of cool. So if I press it again to where it says T and then press the right button, you get a small T, and that small T means the treble of the, I believe it's the image. It's either the pickup or the image. The capital T, I think, is the pickup, and the small T is the mic. So now you've got a really warm sound. Check that out. That sounds very much like a mic, a mic that's kind of far away from you when you first plug it in, older strings. That's the kind of sound that I get. But like Beamo's saying, that would not cut at a gig. But it's warm, right? It's too warm. So let me go back again to the original treble, bring that up to maybe 5. Let's try that. So now one of them is down and one of them's up more. So that's cool because the undersaddle pickups are always kind of bright, so you can turn that treble down, but you can leave the treble up on the mic. And I used to play around. I'm just thinking back now. I would do things like take all the treble off the undersaddle pickup, but add more treble on the mic and things like that. And again, it sounds like tweaking, but honestly, it's not. It's just experimenting and just finding what works the best, a bit like you would on an amplifier. By like, oh, let's try all the bass off and the treble up, or all the treble down and the bass up, just to see what works best for the sound that you're looking for. So it's got rid of all that new string sound now, hasn't it? Now it sounds very kind of like the strings are worn in. right, cool. So we go back here again. I'm just going to bring that back up a little bit. I'm going to go to the compressor, which I think is really cool. If we bring it up to 100%. Can you hear that compressing? And I used to use this for solos because it almost sounds like it's distorted, doesn't it? I remember my friend Will, who I was in a duo with in London. I think he used to run a compressor like that, or he used to get that sound from his acoustic. And it's cool because the compressor's working at 100%, so if you play soft or loud, everything's kind of the same, but it also has that kind of distorted sound, almost like that kind of creamy, distorted sound to it somehow. Of course, that's not what the compressor's for. The compressor is just there to even out the sound, but I always thought that was a cool effect. So I would bring that down to like 3 or 4, just so when I go between fingerstyle, lead, and strumming, there's more of an even sound, and you can hear it coming on a little bit to smooth things out, but not so much that it's that obvious, you know. You can hear it, right? I don't really want to hear the compressor. So, as with most effects, keep them down low. Let's put it on 3. I love that sound. The Fishman Aura compressor was always fantastic, and if you saw Larry Fishman on my channel last year, he mentioned they may release that effect as a mini pedal at some point, which would be great. But I loved it on this guitar because it was built into the guitar, which I think is great. You could show up to an open mic, tune the guitar with the tuner, plug straight in. By the way, on these ones, the battery is very easy to replace. You can put the battery in either way around. It doesn't matter, which was always a cool thing. It tells you when the battery's running out as well. And with a lithium battery, you get about 50 hours, which is pretty reasonable. And you have all those effects built in. So you could actually go from fingerstyle with a brighter, more compressed sound to strumming with a different sound. And I do believe the changes you make to the Aura image are remembered. Because I would choose, say, mic 1 and EQ that for fingerstyle, and then just turn it to image 2, and I do believe it would remember the settings. I may be wrong about that, but on the Retro series, I think it stored the settings. If I'm wrong, then at the very least, I could choose a different mic for fingerstyle, which has a more brighter sound anyway, you know, or whatever you want. But I do believe it stored the settings, which, again, was really, really cool. So, yeah, let me play a song. Compressor helps with sustain, yes. Still there. Gone. Compressor's just on 3. I don't want to overuse the effect. But what you could do, like I said, a really cool thing that I've seen people do, actually my buddy Andrew did this a lot. He would record with the mic image like this. And if you solo over that, even with a solo boost, it's going to get a bit lost. What he would do is he would turn the image off at that point. He would go to blend and turn it off to pickup. So then you get the piezo, which will cut through more. Or you could just leave a little bit on, I guess. That's pretty extreme. Just turn it down, like -3. Or just leave it where it was, of course. Let's try it. Let's put it on 5. Got the chords. Apologies for all the wrong notes. But anyway, my point is, I know what my point is. I think this sounds really great. What I've learned from live streaming this year is that it's very good to live stream and with these in-ears, because you really hear the sound in its most direct form. And some people kind of say to me, well, that's not what these pickups were designed for. These pickups were designed to go to a bar and plug into a big noisy PA system and crank it up, and you hear people dancing and chatting and the sounds bouncing off the walls and coming through the subwoofer, and that's what a pickup is for. I think I disagree a little bit. I get it. Pickups, when you record this, you would use a real microphone, because a real microphone will always sound better than anything else, right? But this system is so good, and I personally feel like it sounds as good as anything else. I think I can understand why a company like Marden would not want the controls, would not want the PCV. I also think it's a shame, because I think this is so great. This is a great playing guitar. I might need to just turn the truss rod a bit, because I think I loosened the neck too much, but this is a great playing guitar. It's light. It sounds really good acoustically. This particular one is very punchy and clear acoustically. And I just think the system is fantastic. And I'm so glad I found one of these. And I think I'm going to keep it. Like I got it used from Guitar Center. And you know, I don't buy stuff to demo on here and return. I wouldn't want to do that. But I was a bit unsure. And I was as soon as I played this guitar, I really liked it. So I knew I'd probably keep it, but I wanted to bring it on here and play it and play some music on it to see, how it stands up to the other systems. And I just think it's great. And I just think I don't want to sound like I'm ranting or being disrespectful in any way whatsoever, but I think this was so ahead of its time, and I really want to see companies do this with other gear and this gear and these guitars. I want to see more like this, and I think that's why the Acoustasonic is such a great guitar, and so many people kind of hate on that guitar, but no other guitar is that unique and so easy to play and allows you to go from like acoustic to electric in one swing like that. It's amazing. And yeah, I don't want to rant too much, but I do think this was a great system. And I did kind of move away from it thinking that it would develop and move up from this point, and I don't feel like it really did. So I hope it does in the future, but if not, until it does, I think I'll keep this guitar and use this. So having said that, let me play a song on it. I need a holiday is what she said to me. I need to get away from you. As I watched her lying next to me, I wished for a holiday too. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I wanna be there, yeah, yeah. Traveled to so many lands to find a place to end your path. And as you take your next trip, you pray it will be the last. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I wanna be there, yeah. Can't find happiness in anyone or anything, but we all keep searching for something more. When all you need is to know that home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I wanna be there, yeah. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I wanna be there, yeah, yeah. Be there, yeah, yeah. Be there, yeah, yeah. I just realized, hey, I didn't rip that song off. It was a complete coincidence. Oh, what happened there? That's really loud. Hang on. Is that all that low end? It's so nice that you can just, there's this whole argument online about should the controls be on the guitar or on the floor. And as you know, I use pedals for everything, but there's still something nice about being able to make a change. And the argument now is, should that change be on the iPad? And although I think that makes a lot of sense, I still like having it on the device. I know I'm very conflicted about a lot of this stuff. Part of me wants the stuff on the guitar at all times. Part of me wants the stuff on an iPad at all times. And often when it comes down to it, though, I don't actually grab the iPad. So, I rarely use iPads at gigs. I do use my phone quite a lot. I'm not sure what's happening. I can't play tonight. I wasn't going to play a cover, but now I've played that, I'll probably get a copyright claim anyway. So, let me see. Blackbird singing the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird singing the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the night of a dark black night. Blackbird singing the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the night of a dark black night. You can hear the compressor when I really dig in. compressor also brings out the low end more, I think, as well. Kind of makes everything more even, including the bass. Echo, echo, echo. I'm going to turn that. I'm going to crank that up now. What was that? That was on 3. I'm going to put it on not 9. I'm going to put it on 7. There's a ton of low end, right? So much bass. Let me turn it down. I would normally do like a low cut on the oh, it's because the bass turned up on here, so that's why. I would usually do a low cut on the pedal to do like let me see, like around 100 hertz, and I turned all that off tonight, so you'd only hear the pickup. But I would normally do that myself. So treble middle bass. There we go. I'll put it down -3. You see, a lot of people when they design these pickups, I guess we're not thinking we might go into a lockdown and do live streaming. In fact, I guess live streaming wasn't even a thing when they made these pickups. So now when we live stream, I guess we might use all image, where you never would have done that back in the day, ever. You would have always used a blend on a stage. But I guess, like I said, back then we were not doing live streaming where you hear the sound so up close, you know. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. If you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, a landslide will bring you down. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Will the child within my heart rise above? Sail through these ocean tide. Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Hi, Steve Smith. How you doing, buddy? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. Time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Take my love. Take my love and you take it down. Thank you, Lee. Take it down. That was the one thing I always thought, you can't do the beats on these ones. Let me just try it. Ready? Because Ed Sheeran does it. It's okay. It's actually about the same as the anthem, maybe, but not as much as like the Cole Clark. I always say, if you don't do that kind of thing, I can't see. If you don't do that kind of thing, then it's not worth having it, because it's just going to mean more feedback, right? Let's see what happens if we turn the microphone. Remember, this is an image, this is an impulse response, not an actual microphone. This is with that turned off on 0. Let's see what happens if it's just a pickup, if it has as much of that sound. You think it wouldn't, I don't know. Yeah, it's actually not bad, is it? Especially when you hit the bridge here. It's really just the body that gets less. But it's enough, isn't it? It's enough. It's more than I remember. It's pretty good, actually. I think I just always want what I don't have, The truth is, I never really do that. I might do that on like 2 songs total. And we just reset the looper. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. I think this is so ahead of its time, because I think actually now I have all the aura on. It sounds really good for live streaming. I know, it's just me, maybe. Emo said, slap the strings. Yeah, you get that. You can certainly do like a kick. Yeah, it's fine. Actually, it's fine. It is fine. Very cool. I think I changed the microphone image. That's fine though. It's kind of brighter, right? I think I like 6. I really like it. I really like it quite a lot. And I haven't even really spent the time to dial in, my optimum sounds. This is a bit weird for me because I'm going through this phase now of just playing a Strat straight into the amp, and I'm really enjoying not messing around with the profiles and the presets and the MIDI and all this. I'm really enjoying just playing the guitar, and this does have the temptation there to tweak, but I think they got the balance really good because the things that are in here are useful. You don't have to use them. You can just use the presets. But the reason I love acoustic is you dial in the tone that you like and you just use it all the time, right? And don't forget, you can always adjust the master treble on your desk or something. So that's cool. So yeah, I'm really happy with this guitar. I'm going to keep it. I actually can't believe the condition it's in. There's one scratch on the back of the neck up here, which I don't feel. It's there. It bugs me that it's there. But if I bought this guitar 6 years ago, it would not be in this condition. I think they kept this in the closet. I think this probably happened in the store. But, whatever. It's right up here. I don't play up here very often anyway. I don't feel it, so it's fine. But what a great guitar. And, before I go, I'll play a couple more songs. But I really just wanted to say I've been looking for one of these for a while. And this is where I'm at with the gear right now. The gear from 5 years ago was so good, so ahead of its time. We had the Variax, we had the F1 Aura. I know it's not perfect, and the way Lee said he didn't like the look of it is the very reason that I didn't keep any of these guitars. I had a couple of retro guitars. Fantastic. Probably better than this, actually. And I didn't keep them because I thought they would do away with that and make a better version. I do like the new versions. I do like the enhanced. I do like the Aura blend. But this was a really, the way this came together, the technology from Fishman and the guitar from Martin, the great acoustic guitar and the great technology that came into one, I think it was just so cool. And I want to see that again. I wanted to work on this and develop it. And I want to see a new version. I want to see like the F1 Aura HD Plus, whatever, and the Retro 2 and the Retro 2020. You know, I wanted to come back to this. I think this was so ahead of its time. So cool. What do you think? Is it just me? You can tell me. That's why I have a YouTube channel. I like to listen back to the recordings to compare stuff. And I like to make videos, of course, because I'm a performer. But I also like to hear, like to listen back and make my own decisions. I also like to hear from you. What do you think of this guitar? You haven't heard it from a microphone. You've only heard the pickup. I will review it properly in the future with a microphone. Even though you can't get them anymore, I think it's an interesting guitar. Or maybe I can compare this to the Maiden or something like that. But let me know what you think. I just need to back this treble off. Because although I do like treble, I don't like the brand. I used to love brand new strings, but I just find them so bright now. All right, I'm going to play 2 more songs, and I'm going to leave you. But I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Soundhole sniffers. Oh, I didn't do that yet. You know what? It actually smells really new as well. I think this has been kept in a closet. It's got that new Soundhole smell, which I do believe fades over time. I think so. So I'll do a couple of songs to finish up. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money. Boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, it's the best that I can do. Gift is my song, and this one's for you. You can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now it's done. Oh, you don't mind, oh, you don't mind that I put down in those words how wonderful life is when you're in the world. Sound the roof and kicked out the bars. Well, if you are the verses, got me quite cross, but the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. My gift is my song, and this is my song. And you can tell everybody this is your song. You see, it may be quite simple, but now it's done. I hope you don't mind, hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful I feel while you're in the world. Hope you don't mind, hope you don't mind. I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in my world. I hope you don't mind, hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in my world. See, I know we were talking about not using the reverb and the effects, but I find with live streaming, the effects are so important now anyway. I should probably make a whole video on that because I just used to use a little bit of reverb live on the voice, but now I find that the delays and the reverbs and things and compressors are so important on the live stream. They just thicken the sound out. And definitely want to start using just more effects in general, especially at a solo gig. You just want to make everything sound bigger, right? You can probably tell I'm enjoying myself because it's now 8:35 p.m. and I've been on for an hour and a half. I don't really stay on the stream and keep playing unless I like what I'm hearing. I just really like this. Is it perfect? Well, I'm never going to say anything is perfect because I'm Aaron Short, but I'm really, really pleased with this. It's so, like, the clarity and everything is just so good. I don't know. Again, I might listen back to it later and hate it, but I doubt it. Okay, I'm going to do one more song just so I can have something to listen back to later. What shall I finish with? I'll finish with John Mayer. Know a girl, she put the color inside of my world. She's just like a maze, where all of the walls all continually change. And I've done all I can to stand on the step with my heart in my hands. Now I'm starting to see it's got nothing to do with me. Fathers, be good to your daughter. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers, turn into mothers. Mothers, be good to your daughters too. You see that skin? It's the same she's been living in since the day she saw him walking away. Now she's left here cleaning up the mess he made. So fathers, be good to your daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers, turn into mothers. you say, boys, and be strong. Boys, soldier on. Boys will be gone without the love from a woman's good heart. Every man watching out for every girl. You are the weight and the strength of our world. Fathers, be good to daughters. Daughters will love like you do. Girls become lovers, turn into mothers. Mothers, be good to your daughters too. I put so much relief in the neck because I wanted it not to buzz, and yet it's not perfectly easy to play, but it just amazes me how easy it is to play even with that much relief in the neck. I'm quite impressed here. Lost at sea, oh, another lonely day with no one there but me. Oh, more loneliness than any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. Oh, I send an SOS to the world. I send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in their bottle. Message in a bottle. Woke up this morning, can't believe what I saw. 100 billion bottles washed up on the shore. Seems I'm not alone in being alone. 100 billion gas stairways looking for a home. I send an SOS to the world. I send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. Message in a bottle, a bottle, a bottle. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Look, no hands. I send an SOS to the world. I send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle, yeah. Well, that was a real jam session tonight. Thank you for watching. So I think I said everything I want to say. I love these guitars. I'm sad they're gone. I'm glad I have one. And I can't wait to see what happens in the future. I hope we see something better than this. And until then, I shall continue to play this one. So thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Subscribe and ring the bell. I posted a new video today about the new Martin pick, the Lux pick. Please watch that next and let me know in the comments what you think of the sound of that. We'll discuss it on Monday with Maury and Spoon in some detail. I'll see you on Sunday for more cover songs and have a great weekend. Oh, and don't forget, Tuesday is my birthday and any gifts and cards will be graciously accepted. See you then. Bye-bye. Just kidding. At midnight, wear your high heels, your red dress, and your smile. You look just like this other girl I knew.